Saudi, Peckham, Old Kent Road. If Anthony Yarde is involved, it's a big fight.
This is Jonathan Agger, 5th Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Tunde Ajayi here in London. He's got the shadow boxing. Still fast.
Bro, it's getting fast. I told some people their age, but you get these trainers that start getting a pot belly. Bro, with me, it's like a Benjamin Button. I almost said ting. It's a Benjamin Button thing.
Well, you're in the gym every day with Anthony, who's back next weekend. Tell us the opponent next week and what people can expect.
Yeah, it's I don't really know what people are saying, but we're taking this fight very, very serious. Me personally, as a trainer, I'm taking it very, very serious. Ant's at the stage of his career where you cannot overlook anyone. We saw this with Deontay Wilder and Joseph Parker. Everyone was talking about AJ Wilder the next fight. Well, guess what? Joseph Parker weren't thinking that, and he set up himself a nice little fight with Zhang. So our fight, we're taking it very, very seriously.
You've been questioned throughout Anthony's career for the opponents and things like that, but you have worked it out always in the end to get to those big fights.
Yes.
Just to tell us sort of the thinking behind how you've managed Anthony's career, because some people would say, maybe sometimes he hasn't had that bridge fight, he's had the Linden fight, but, it has kind of been, one fight, then a Beterbiev. But tell us your thought process and how you've matched him.
Yeah, well, I would love the people that maybe criticise or raise their eyebrows to how Anthony's career has been manoeuvred to do or have the job of Steve Finesse. But those that don't know, Steve Finesse is a matchmaker for Mr. Frank Warren. Nobody does. These guys don't want to fight Ant. Go ask him. For this fight, we had 6 pullouts, and it's been that for Ant's whole career. So again, people have to understand that it's not as easy as saying he ain't fighting it or let's fight him. The opponents have to agree. And I'm never a person to really talk about the opponents that pull out the fight, but let me give you an example. We tried to match Ant against the guy fought Billy Joe Saunders at the open air fight. I think he gave Billy a tricky fight. I don't know if he dropped Billy in that fight, but yeah, I remember that fight. He wanted Saudi money. he wanted Saudi money. I'm like, and that's just one example. Ant is a fighter. I think he's displayed that by in the embryonic career going over to Russia and fighting a Hall of Famer in Sergey Kovalev, and then fighting Artur Beterbiev. I actually laugh at some of the comments sometimes. It's like, oh, this is what happens. He fights this person, he moves up, and then he loses. Hold on. Well, it didn't work for Callum Smith. It didn't work for Callum Johnson. It didn't work for Nathan Keverly. It didn't work for Sonny Edwards. It didn't work for... I can go on and on and on. There ain't no magic to preparing yourself for the world title. You can have the best warm-up fights you want. If you look at the light heavyweights, Anthony Yarde has done and come the closest to putting a dent in these guys. So much so that people thought Beterbiev was washed up when he fought Ant. And I've kept saying, no, it's that Ant is that good. And we saw that. And so, if you want to look at common opponents, if we go to statistics with Callum and Ant, Callum fought a guy called Nemes Patty, surname. Took Callum 6 rounds to get him out of there. Anthony Yarde knocked him out in 3 rounds. Callum Smith fought Sakloka. Go box rate, check it. I think he went points with Sakloka. Anthony Yarde knocked him out in 3 rounds. It's just that Anthony knocks them out. So people think he actually ain't fighting no one. But if you go and check, if you do, this is why I know the people that are criticizing are not boxing people. They don't know the homework. They haven't done the homework. They haven't done the research, and that's not their job. It's my job to do that. And so I cannot raise an eyebrow to someone that's criticizing the level of opposition that Anthony's fighting. They just will not give this young man credit for doing what he's doing in explosive fashion and making it look easy. But we all know boxing's not easy. And so, but if you want to have the argument about ill preparation before title fights, well then, come on, name your best fighter. Name your best fighter. It's the same result. It's the same result. But Anthony's come the closest to doing it. And let me just say, all those aforementioned fighters, I'm in no way criticizing them. They know, just as I know, what it takes to get to that level. And every one of those fighters that I may have mentioned, credit has to be given to them, because you're talking about a world sport. You're talking about men that have come from working class backgrounds, most of them. I don't really know no middle class or higher class fighters that become professional boxers, but you know, these are local kids that have got to that level of the sport. So it's never a criticism between about those fighters. It's more to do with the few people on the net that want to make comparisons or you know, talk about Anthony's opponent. It's just that Anthony's a very, very good fighter.
That is an interesting point you make, because I guess sometimes it can just be on the night if you can get it right, isn't it?
Yes, of course it is. I mean, listen, this is world class. This is the top.
The elite. This
is the elite. You're talking about the 1 or 2%. There's 99% that never reach this level. So how come anyone criticize fighters and how they got there? I've never understood it. And if you want to be technical and statistical, even more so, what was the amateur background of Callum Johnson? Wasn't he a Commonwealth Games gold medalist? What is the amateur background of Callum Smith? Wasn't he a multiple amateur champion? What was the background of Sonny Edwards? What is the background of Nathan Cleverly? What is the background of these guys? Anthony Yarde in under 50 fights, 50, amateur and professional, has fought for 2 world titles. I want you to wrap your head around that. Go eat your popcorn and think about that. This guy's special. This guy's special. You talk, and let me just talk about myself as well. I never come from a boxing family. I'm like Ant. We just decided to show people, not by talking, but people that come from our environment, that if you really dedicate yourself and your life, you can reach the elite level of the sport and change the life of yourself and those around you.
2 more, because I know you've got to go. Just wanted to know your reaction to when Artur Beterbiev returned an atypical finding. Obviously, that doesn't mean he's failed the drug test, which is why the fight went ahead, but Anthony's just done some media with us and he's raised his suspicions and things like that. What was your reaction?
Yeah, well, listen. I'm rolling with God. That's first and foremost for me, always. I'm like, my belief in the Most High, in God, in whatever you want to call him, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Yahweh, Jah, Rastafari, whatever you want to call him, my belief is solid. To the point that you can take what you want. You can't beat me if God is with me. And if you are to beat me, then my belief is God is trying to show me something. Now, when we look at the reality of things, I look at what has happened and the pattern that has been formed with 2 fighters in particular. The 2 fighters that Anthony lost to, because I don't count Lyndon Arthur, no disrespect. Yeah, we all know why. And I still don't think he lost the first fight, but I don't want to go on to that. But the 2 fighters that Anthony's lost to, Beterbiev and Kovalev, the initial date, and I don't care if I get heat for this, I'm just talking the talk. Kovalev is a drug sheet. he got found for drugs after he fought Anthony or Canelo. So I don't care when it was, he's a drug taker. The first fight, the initial date with Kovalev was postponed. And VADA testing was not taken. So after the postponement, then suddenly a new date come about. Now, Anthony Yarde against Beterbiev. The initial date was postponed. A new date come up. Okay, so that's 2 out of 2 now. Now, business that doesn't concern me. Callum Smith, the first date was postponed. A new date come up. Now, an atypical finding. So all I'm saying, there's some patterns going there. You know, things come in threes. Things happen in threes. So Kovalev, postponement. Beterbiev, postponement. Now, an atypical finding was found. Something is coincidental. And it's down to the people to make what they want, because I don't want to get no lawsuit. But I'm just telling you what happened factually for Anthony Yarde. And if it is that his 2 defeats came about because people were taking performance enhancement drugs, then God knows. God don't sleep. God don't sleep.
Finally, Tunde, I don't want to take your mind off next week too much, but obviously there has been talk of a potential Callum Smith showdown. What's your thoughts on that? And also the potential that if Anthony does fight Smith and potentially Boxeo Aziz winner, that just leaves Bivol and then he's fought everyone in his era.
Anthony Yarde against anyone is the big fight. Anthony Yarde against Boxeo, big fight, pay-per-view, London boys, stadium fight. I heard man talk about, I heard someone say Wembley Arena. It's not Wembley Arena fight, it's a stadium fight. That fight is bringing the people out. It's put on a good undercard. It's doing Frotch Groves, Boxeo Yarde Boxeo, big fight. Yarde, Callum Smith, big fight. Saudi, Peckham, Old Kent Road. If Anthony Yarde is involved, it's a big fight. Anthony Yarde, Chris Callum Smith up at Cruiser, pay-per-view fight again, big fight. Anthony Yarde, Bivol, big fight, pay-per-view. Anthony Yarde, Beterbiev, rematch, pay-per-view, because the first fight was supposed to be pay-per-view. That's why it is and was the fight of the year. That's why the British Boxing Board of Control have nominated Anthony Yarde versus Artur Beterbiev as the fight of the year 2023. The common denominator in all of the above mentioned fights is one man. AY. Anthony Yarde. Yarde, they call him Yardy. Anthony's you just love it or hate it. That's just the reality of it. Because you put those, alright, Anthony Boxeo against Callum Smith. Yeah, it's a good fight, but it ain't a blockbuster. And Callum Smith against whoever, it's just no blockbuster. So I'm in the AY business. The fact is, Turkey Al Sheikh is the man that can right now. Along with Frankie Blue Eyes. Anthony Yarde has publicly stated that he's ready to fight anyone this year. But as a manager, I still have to try to get him fights and keep him active in between the big fights.
Okay, Tunde, I'm sure we can catch up next week, but best of luck if I don't see you before then, and we'll speak soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the
shout out to The Fight Is Right.
Yeah, The Fight Is Right. Spencer, The Knowledge, Fearon, Tunde Ajayi. I don't know what to call myself, but I'll be back, God willing, on the 11th of February, Sunday.
Okay, brilliant. Tunde, cheers.
Yep.